What's going on, YouTube? Alright, sorry I haven't brought you part 2 of the auto tune, but it's been either rainy or it's been super cold, so I haven't really had a chance to take the bike out. So I'll be getting to that video soon as the weather clears up. But we have some new mods to do today. So today I've received some frame sliders. So everybody knows you need some frame sliders, just in case you forget the kickstand or you do a slow low side. These will save you a little bit. So I'll put a link down below. Now these were from Amazon, and of course I am a cheap bastard, so these are all black, and they came from China. I think I paid $49 or $59 for them. It did take almost a month to get them, but so far the quality looks pretty good. This is the actual slider itself, and so this is the bracket that goes underneath it. The metal aluminum seems like it's pretty good. The powder coating seems pretty well. The bolts, on the other hand, the powder coating on the bolts, it's not the greatest, but hey, I want to say for anything close to what this is going to be just over $100, so I got it for half the price. I mean, hell, I've been wanting to try and play around with powder coating stuff myself. So if I want to powder coat the bolts or spray them, there we go. So $50. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble them, and we're gonna put them on the bike, and you guys can hang out. So a quick little change. When I was putting the frame sliders together, you could actually go either way. You can go with the high side up front or the slope side up front. But everything I've been seeing is there's like some people do it with the slope side up front, some people do it with the slope side back. So I'm not quite sure. In my video, as you guys are watching, I was doing it with the high side up front. I decided to change that and go with the slope side up front. As you can see here, so here it's sloping from front to back. I think I'm going to keep it that way. That way, if I'm sliding, this end doesn't catch the ground. Even though that's a steeper slope, that could dig. So this would slide across the ground. And plus it might be more aerodynamic. So just keep that in mind after you watch my video. Flip these around. Alright, so first thing first is you want to go ahead and get the frame sliders attached to the brackets. We're going to be using some red Loctite. I don't foresee taking these off for maintenances or anything of that unless I have a crash. So I don't want them falling off while I'm riding. So we're going to use some red Loctite. And we're going to use a 6mm. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some Loctite. And a little bit goes a long way. Alright, so it looks like it only goes one way. Alright, so this is the shorter side. This is the shorter one. So the other one's longer. You can see here the other bracket here. Okay, so this is going to be the left side of the bike, or excuse me, this is the right side of the bike, and this is the left side of the bike. Alright, so that long end is going to go in the front. So we want the high part of the frame slider up front. Like so. Alright. Let's get that started. Alright, get number 2. Alright, so they did not send any instructions, so there is no instructions with this, but it all seems kind of self-explanatory, so hopefully. So we're just going to make it good and tight. And then we're going to let the Loctite just keep it in place. Do the right side of the bike. love juice. Long end in the front. So it looks like what it's going to do is it's going to sit right in here, and that's going to be our frame slider. So we have to remove this bolt here, this bolt here. It looks like maybe have, so this is an engine mount. I think there's one back here. So removing 2 engine mounts at a time, I'm worried that the engine might shift a little bit. So I'm just going to do 1 bolt at a time. So we're going to start with this front one. And this is a 14 millimeter. Alright, so let's check our depth. So you get 2 bolts with your kit. Per side, a short and a long. So if this long one goes in here, let's say this is our bolt, so that's about where it sits. So the depth looks about the same. So don't worry about going too deep. And again, we're going to add a little Loctite because I don't foresee us really removing this unless there's an issue. Usually run a bead across the top on one side, then as I screw it in, it'll distribute it. Alright, now these bolts here are going to be 8 millimeter. Alright, so we're just going to, now we're not going to tighten this all the way down, we're just going to get it to where I know it's supporting the engine. There's nothing worse than when an engine, you remove a motor mount or disc and the engine moves. And now you got to try and jack it up, maneuver it, move it around so you can line it up. Otherwise you're going to strip threads. So I'd rather just take my time and do one at a time. Okay, so that feels like it's just starting to catch, tighten up. Now we're going to go loosen this back bolt. Again, a 14 millimeter. Really easy. For some reason these bolts feel like they're a little shallow. Be careful, don't strip it. Alright, so to do the same thing here, put the bolt in, kind of line it up, make sure it's about the same depth. Looks good, right? A little bit on our bolt. Line it up. They want to be gentle. This is aluminum, so we don't want to cross thread. You'll be having a bad day if you cross thread anything. Alright, feels like it's starting to go in. So we're going to kind of bounce back and forth. Now you want these pretty tight. Alright, there we go. Now you can put a torque wrench on it if you like. But I don't know. That's pretty much tight as I can do it, so that's harder than take them off. Now how does that look? Alright, so this is the left side of the bike. We're basically going to pretty much do the exact same thing. Remove the front bolt first. Alright, so we do the same thing. Long bolt up front. Check the depth. Looks good. Alright. Now we're going to drop a little red goodness on it. Okay, again, these are 14 millimeters and also an 8 millimeter hex. Nice and easy, just get it nice and started. If it feels like it's going in crooked, stop and just back it out. Back one. Check our bolt. Alright, so this is actually longer. So I'll show you guys this. So if you guys look at this bolt, so that's right about where, so there is about 1/4 of an inch of extra bolt sticking out. Stick this in here, okay, so it's bottomed out. So we got that much of depth. So you line that up. That bolt should just be just fine. Red goodness on it. Get it back on. In we go. Oh, pretty good. Let's get it nice and good and tight. Alright, there we go. Alright, so trying to angle the camera because the bike's not on a stand. So that's what it looks like, them sticking out. Alright, hopefully you guys liked the little install, the little how-to, and on the frame sliders. Like I said, I'll put a link to them in the description, and hopefully it's something that you're interested in. If not, no big deal. I mean, you might not like the Chinese or wait 3 weeks to a month to get them, which is never a fun thing to do. But anyway, so hopefully I don't have to test them or try them out or or use them, but they look pretty good on the bike. I like it. They blend very nice. So please like and subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more content. We got some other videos here coming fairly shortly. So and don't forget, Auto Tune Part 2 will be coming. And so talk to you then. See y'all later. Peace.